So hello everyone. So here we are with this video of Pandas GroupBy. We are going to learn a function of Pandas called GroupBy. So it's very similar to what we have in SQL, but things are done a little differently. And of course, we are going to use a data set to do this. So let's quickly jump on to the data set which we are going to use. We are going to use Superstore data set, which is a fictitious data set, I presume, of a market in which there are various categories. They keep all their sales records, customer IDs, order IDs. So let me just show you the data set directly. So what we do is import pandas as PD, and of course we should also import numpy. We may use numpy as well. Numpy or numpy. All right, here you go. Now we are going to read our data set. I'm sorry. We'll say we'll read this into this data frame object. This is very basic, so you may be already knowing this Excel. So I'm just going through this very quickly. This is the data set, and once we read the data set, we want to show, we want to show its head, which means the first 5 rows. Okay, so here we are. So this is the data set. So we have got row ID, and so we've got two indices actually. So it will give the dataset comes with a row ID as well. So that is an explicit index, and it does have an implicit index also starting from 0. So if we want, we can very well remove one of the indices, or we can either make row ID as the index, or we can remove the row ID and you take this Python implicit index which starts from 0 as an index. It's up to us. All right. So this is our data set. Let's have a quick look at the columns. So we have order ID, which tracks all the orders. This column tracks all the orders. It generates an order ID for every order which is placed online or offline for this superstore. The order date, ship date, shipping mode, customer ID, which who placed the order, customer name, country from where the order was placed, city, the city postal code, product ID. So there's a lot of data here, and the category to which this product belong. So we have a particular product order here which belongs to a furniture category, and the subcategory is bookcases. Product name is of course mentioned here, and the sales. So how much was it sold for? This order was how how much was this order for, and how many quantities. So this sales, what we are talking about is was sold this product was sold, two quantity of this product was sold, and the total sales made was $261.96. So these two quantities were worth this much money. This was sold, and the profit made was this much. So that's how it goes. Okay. So what we want to do from this data set primarily is to have a good hands-on experience with group by method of pandas. So we had a good view of the data set, and let's dive it dive into it a little deeper. So we will say, okay, we so we do not have mm, any blank columns actually, any blank cells actually. Each one of the columns are fully filled. So we have got, you know 9,994 rows in every column. Let's see what the data set, what the shape looks like. So I'm sorry, yes, dot shape. All right, so we have got 9,994 rows and 21 columns, and okay, so we have got one postal code. Postal code has some values which need to be filled. All right, So, and then we'll go ahead and we'll say describe, so that we have, so we have this stats produced by Pandas, which we are not going to talk about this describe method or, you know, anything else. In this video, we are primarily going to focus on group by. But for to be able to make a good decision on, what grouping we need to make, we need to have a good idea of the data also. So, some numbers are needed. So we are going to have this, this comes in very handy, the describe method, to be able to make a good choice of groups. All right. So this is our describe method. It says that, okay, let's have a look at profit column. So we will have 25%, the 25 percentile is this, which means 25% of all the orders made made profit less than this amount. Okay, and this was the maximum profit made actually. Okay, all of the profits made were less than this. So this may be belonging to a certain category. So let's see how we can actually make more sense out of this in the group by. One more thing which I want to which I want to point out here is, so here we have date time object as well. So what happens is, whenever at times when there is a data set in which there is a date column or more than one date columns, they may be mentioned as object types, as a string. But in this data set, we have been given these date time columns, as as date time as date time data types as well of pandas. So this is good. So we may want to again, make some groupings as per the date. We may want to filter out the data as per the date. So this comes in very. All right. So let's talk about grouping now. So what we want to form a group of is category. So we are seeing here that we have one column called category, in which there are many categories. Of course, there are uh, many entries, of which we can form groups. Me, we will again do something which we already know. So we'll say df. So we'll say we'll talk about this column which we want to use in our group by. So we'll say this column, and we'll say, okay, we'll say unique, so that we know how many categories are there. And then we have another column in the group, subcategory. We'll talk about this also. So we have how many categories? One, two, three, one, two, three categories: furniture, office supplies, and technology. So this whole data set of how many rows? 999 for rows is primarily divided into three categories only. And then we have subcategories also. So we may, so if we want to form groups here, we can form three groups, and within these three groups, all of the data set will fall, all of the rows will fall. But we need some more categories. So let's try, we need some more groups actually. So let's try this column. How many categories we have in this column? In fact, okay. So how many are they, by the way? So this is little too much to count. So there are 17 subcategories. So this is what we are given. We have got categories, and each category has some subcategory. So, so furniture seems to be having bookcases, chairs, office supplies, seem to be having labels. Again, furniture has another subcategory, tables, office supply has another subcategory, storage, and there may be many more subcategories of these three categories. How many are there? There are total 17 subcategories, and there are total 17, three categories. Which subcategory belongs to which category is a question which we need to answer, and we can answer it through group by. We'll take it up. All right. So let's move on. what we want here is we want our data set to be divided into groups. And those groups, first off, we want to we want to make the groups on the basis of this column category. So how many uh, unique values we have in this column? Furniture, office supplies, and technology. Three. So we want to get the data set divided into three groups. Three groups. First group this, second group this, and third group this of furniture, office supplies, and technology. So what we'll do here is, let's see how it goes. So we will say BF group by, and we want to group by. What is our criterion for group by? We want this. So we'll take this. So what it returns is a data frame group by object. So within which there are many groups. So how many groups are there? Let's see. So how many groups are there? So okay, let what we'll do is we will form group. So we'll form groups. These are, it has many groups. So it has divided data frame into three groups actually. We'll see that, and we have all these groups are stored in this objects, which is a data frame group by object. Let's have a look. See if we print this. Okay, I'm sorry, I didn't run the cell. If we print this, it will return us a data from group by object. But if you want to have a look at the number of groups which it has made, we'll say n groups. So it has made three groups. What are those groups? We want to have a look at those groups. So we'll say dot groups. So how many groups? So it gives us a dictionary actually. So the dictionary has how many values? I can see furniture, office supplies, and I can see technology as well. So the furniture, office supply, and technology. So there are three keys. So it's a dictionary of. So see, the keys here are string, and the values of the dictionary is list. So, and these are the indices actually. So how many rows belong to the furniture group? These rows. These rows. With this correspond. But what if you want to have, see, what if we want to print only the number of, on the names of the groups? So it is giving us all the groups. What if we want to have, so this is a dictionary. So how do you get to the keys of the dictionary? So this is a dictionary. What we'll say is this dot keys. So we can get there. There you go. So this is pure Python. So we saw a dictionary, and we recall that, if you want to print the only the keys of the dictionary, which in this case are the group names, we got the group names. So this is what we expected. Okay. So the data set is now divided into three groups. Three groups. Each group represents, one unique value in the category column, which we selected in our group by class, in our group by method. There you go. So yeah, there it is. So we made we did the grouping on the basis of category column, and it presented us with three groups. These are the groups. So these are the groups, and the group names are these, as expected. Now, as we know, there are categories and subcategories. We want to know how do these two, how a category relates to a subcategory. How many subcategories are there in a category, and which are those subcategories? So can group by help us resolving this? Yes, it can. So what we can do is we can actually in our group by clause, we say group by df dot group by, as we did in this case. We said When we made the group, we actually made it for only one column. Now we can actually cascade this. So we have categories. The primarily, see, the splitting of the data set will be done on the basis of category, and once that is done, this will be three, three categories. The data set will be divided into three parts, and these three parts, all three of them separately will be divided as per this column. So categories separately will be divided into subcategories. You will get to know when the result comes. So again, it presents us with a group by object. What we want to have a look at is how many groups, what are those groups? So these are the groups. So furnitures, bookcases, furnitures, chairs, furnitures, furnishing. So, but that's not a very pleasant way of analyzing, what we want to analyze. So this is extremely difficult actually. So what we want is again the keys only. So it's a dictionary again. So we just want the name of the groups. So here we go. So furniture, bookcases, furniture, chairs, category, subcategory, category, subcategory. So furniture has how many subcategories? One, two, three, and four, bookcases, chairs, furnishings, and tables. Office supplies again has, you know, its own subcategories, and technology has its own subcategories. Technology has accessories, copiers, machines, and phones. So again, we can present it a little better, still better. So let's what we can do is use list comprehension, and so these are the group names. So we'll say for group name in this expression, and we would just need group name. Okay, so we'll make a list of this, just to present it better. Let's print it. We are not storing it anywhere because we just want to have a look. We won't use it in this video. So we are not storing this expression in a variable. We just want to have a look. So this is better. So furniture and its subcategories. Office supplies has the most subcategories. Technologies has four subcategories. So that's how, we can actually see now how each category relates to a subcategory. How many subcategories and what subcategories are present in a particular category. So that's another thing which which group by can help you with. So that's where we start with group by. Uh, Group by is most often used with an aggregate function of pandas, as it is done in SQL. So group by and aggregate functions go hand in hand, and the similar is the case in pandas as well. So you use group by to be able to aggregate some other columns. What I mean is this. So if we have a look at this group, how many groups do we have in categories? Furniture, office supplies. So if you want to just get this group, if you want to have a look at this group, what this group is all about. So see, this is when we had a look at every group, all the groups, it presented us with group name and the row IDs, the indices of the rows which come under this group. But if you want to really have a look at the data frame, what we do is this. So we have, what is our group name? The category. Okay. So this group by object has three groups, as we just saw. Actually, let's see it again. So three groups. Yes. Which group do we want? So we want one of the group. We'll say get group, and we'll give the group name. That's the syntax. Okay, so one of the group is furniture. So let's bring this on. So here you go. So see, this is how it goes. It says 0, 1, 3, 5, 10. So that's how it was. 0, 1, 3, 5, 10, and there are those rows actually. So 0, 1, 3, 5, 10, and so on. So this is the first group, and we can actually have a look at the second group also. Office supplies is the second group. So how many, first off, how many rows does this, first group has? 2, 1, 2, 1 rows and 21 columns, of course, all the columns. How about this? This group has how many rows? 6026 rows. So of course, a bigger group. And of course, the indices are different. 2, 4, 6, 8. So, so here you go. Does it match? Yes, 2, 4, 6, 8. So this is what it was talking about when we said, when we printed the groups, that's what it said. So now what we are doing is, we are printing every group separately as a data frame. So this is how it is. It has divided our data set, the whole data set of Superstore into three data sets, into three data frames. And now we are having a look at them separately. Technology would look like this. Let's have a look at that as well. Here you go. So 1847 rows. This is the smallest row. Okay. So that's how you get to a group, a particular group from the set of groups which the GroupBy actually provides you. All right. So what can we do with these groups now? So what we see, there's this technology group, and what we want is we want to have a look at which group actually is the best group in terms of sales. Okay, total sales. You know, is it technology or office supplies, or is it which or is it furniture? So so these are the stats which the business owners want to have a look at. Want to be in their reports which are presented to them, so that they take good business decisions. So one of the stats which we can provide them with through a group by clause is this. So we will say, okay, group by, we want this. So we already have the group. I'm sorry, we already have the group. So this group has three categories, as we know. Now we want only this column, sales. We want this column from the group. Okay, sales column from the group. Okay, and the sales column. So sales column, we want it aggregated. We want total sales. Which group made the most sales. We want to get to that. We want to compare the total sales made by each group. So here we go. We'll say sum. Okay, we'll have to put it in quotes as well. So here you go. Simple stats. Now you get to know what I actually was trying to convey. So furniture group, because we had just selected one column from that group. See, from each group. So how many groups? Three groups: furniture, office supplies, and technology. Which column? Sales column. And we actually sum up all the rows of those sales columns. So technology group has, it will be 907 plus 911 plus 213 plus 90. Okay. So there will be all these values in the sales column of technology will be added to get to this. And similarly for office supplies and furniture also. So now and all these are done separately and presented at once. So we can actually apply aggregate functions like sum to our groups, to a particular column to our group, and to more than one column to our group. So we can have sales column aggregated as sum. We can have sales column aggregated as max. If we want to have a look at which is the group, of which, all right, sorry, which is the group. So, let's have another comparison. How about profit? Maximum profit. Okay. There you go. Maximum profit. Which group? Can we sort them? Yes, we can. How can we sort them? How can we sort them? We can sort them by sort values. Sort underscore values. Sort underscore values. Sorry. So there you go. It's sorted now. Furniture at the top. What was it previously? Okay, it actually is sorted. No, it's not sorted. Sorry, this. Share the screen again. I'm sorry. It just happens to be sorted in this case because it is just putting furniture at the first place, and furniture happens to be giving you the least profit max value. So what we are calculating here is, of these three categories, maximum profit was made, you know maximum profit. So there is this profit column. So this profit column will be, sorry, so there's this profit column, and this will be in all the three categories. It has a value, y- you know so it will have a maximum value also. So maximum value in this group, technology group, is this, and the maximum value in furniture group is this, and the maximum value is this. So it is not sorted. In this case it is sorted. It's by chance. If you look at this group, it is not sorted. Furniture 7,000, I'm sorry, 7,41,999, then 7,01,000, 19,047, then 8,36,154. So if you want to get this sorted, we you know we want we would use sort underscore values. So now this is sorted in the ascending order. In the ascending order now. Okay. What if you want it to be in the descending order? We will say ascending is equal to false. We want the best one at the top. So we'll say this is the highest sum, and same thing we can do here as well. This is, if we do this here, of course we'll get this. So max profit, maximum profit was made by an item which was in the technology group. Okay, and that's 839. In fact, if we have a look at this now, so we did this actually in the describe method. Okay, so the maximum profit made was this. Now we know which, see, category in which category that profit was made. So it was made in technology category. So we are getting more information here. We are getting much more closer to the data set now. We are getting more insights into the data set by using GroupBy clause here. And that's what we need.